I was helping my cousin renovate a rental house from the 1950s. Old bones, rotten carpet, nothing unusual. Until we opened the basement and found a hallway that stretched at least 60 feet under the house. Thing is, the house itself, only 40 feet wide. At the end of the hallway there was a door. No handle, just a mail slot. I peeked through and saw a tiny child's bedroom. Dusty, still made. A teddy bear on the bed, and a bowl of fresh water on the floor. My cousin tried to knock the door down. But before his hammer hit, a voice whispered through the slot, "Please don't, I'm sleeping now." We sealed the hallway with concrete the next morning, but we still hear tapping from beneath the foundation. My granddad died 2 years ago. Left us the house, including his cluttered, junk-filled basement. We found an old deep freezer plugged into the wall, locked shut, no key anywhere. When we moved it, we heard it. A voice. From inside, it whispered, "Please don't forget to feed it." My mom thought it was a speaker. Some prank. I left that night. She stayed. The next morning, she called me. Said the lock was missing and the lid was open. Inside was empty, but wet. She doesn't sleep anymore. Neither do I. Because every time I hear the fridge hum at night, I remember that whisper. And I wonder what we were feeding. I was inspecting a house for sale. Everything normal. Until I opened the basement door. The wooden stairs were new. Too new. Freshly carved. Still smelled of pine. But this place hadn't been touched in decades. I stepped down slowly, counted the steps. There were 13. On the 12th, I paused. Something felt off. I turned around, tried to go back up. But there were only 11 steps now. Then 10, and the walls started shifting, expanding outward, like the house was building itself around me. I made a run for it, leapt to the top, slammed the door. When I turned back, the steps were gone. Now it's just a dirt slope. But I swear I still hear the sound of wood being nailed from below. My aunt had a mirror in her basement no one was allowed to touch. Not fancy, just a plain full-length mirror, bolted to the wall. She said it wasn't ours to move. After she passed, I went down there alone. The basement was silent, except for a soft humming, coming from the mirror. I stood in front of it. My reflection looked wrong. It didn't blink when I did, didn't tilt its head when I did. And then it smiled. I didn't. I backed away. It stepped forward. The mirror cracked from the inside. I ran. The mirror's still there. But now it reflects the basement how it used to look, before the house was ever built. The house we bought was listed as partially burned. The basement had supposedly been untouched, just smoke damage. But when we opened the door, it was warm, like something had just been there. We stepped down and saw the furnace. Old, coal-fed, long out of use. But the coals were glowing. One of them pulsed like it had a heartbeat. My wife reached toward it. and it hissed, not like steam, like a word. Stay. We moved out that night. Came back 2 weeks later for some boxes. The entire house had burned down. Everything except the basement. And that furnace? Still glowing. I bought an old bar to flip it into a gallery. Basement was supposed to be a storage room. Only thing down there was a single iron chain, bolted to the wall, 6 feet long. No signs of what it was for. We tried to remove it. It snapped our drill bits. Next day, the chain had moved, still bolted, but coiled differently, facing the stairs now. I checked the security cam footage. It twitched all night, like it was trying to reach the door. We had it cut and removed by a specialist. Took hours. But when I came in the next morning, the chain was back. This time it wasn't bolted. It was waiting. I was 12 when I first saw it. We just moved into an old farmhouse. My dad warned me never to go into the basement. So, of course, I did. The floor was made of uneven stone, except one slab in the middle. Perfectly square, clean. I stood on it and heard it breathe. Then a voice beneath my feet whispered, "Closer." I dropped to my knees, ear to the stone. It opened, not fast, not sudden, like a yawn. Inside was a mouth, gigantic, pink, wet, with dozens of child-sized teeth. It said, "You're still growing. I'll wait." I ran. My parents never believed me, until my brother disappeared, and we found his shoes, right where that stone used to be. I was doing pest control in an old hospital that got converted to apartments. One tenant called about screaming in the walls. I traced it to the basement, followed the sound through a vent and into a crawl space behind the boiler. There was a hole in the brick. Old stone chamber behind it, something not on any blueprint. And in that chamber was a man, naked, pale, eyes gone, but alive, and screaming. Non-stop, not words, just raw sound, like he'd forgotten what silence felt like. He didn't stop when I spoke, didn't stop when I ran. I told the landlord. They said the basement was sealed years ago. But when I went back, the vent was bricked over, like it had never been open. Except I still hear him sometimes, in pipes, in drains. And now I've started screaming back. Some basements are unfinished, some are haunted, some are just cold. But a few were never meant to be opened. They're not below your house, they're beneath you.